Hello, my name is Ashley MacArthur, and this is my social media assignment part 2, Design and Document and Prototype for 6414C. So my specific project is going to be creating a Facebook group to help distribute annual training material for the United States Marine Corps. So just a little bit of background on that. Every year, all employees for the United States Marine Corps must complete annual training. There are 15 different topics at least that every single employee must participate in. And when I say every single employee, all the participants in this program, they are aged 18 to 65. They are male, female, transgendered, other. They encompass all reading levels from high school and above, all education levels, high school and above. And this is everyone, from generals to civilians working at the coffee shop or at the sandwich shop. Everyone who works on the base participates in this program. The objective specifically, as I mentioned before, is to distribute annual training materials to all employees that work on the base. We're choosing Facebook for the rapidity and efficiency that it has as compared to handwritten documents, which is what is used now, as well as email, which is used on occasion. So the specific people who will receive this information and be a part of this group are going to be the people who distribute it amongst their squadrons, their departments, whichever organization department they happen to work in. They're the ones that are going to be distributing and actually administering the training. So these people are the XO or sergeant majors of various squadrons, as well as department heads for various civilian employee areas. So all of that being said, as I mentioned, this will be a Facebook group. So you would want to start off by creating a Facebook page, which I have a detailed list of how to do so that is accompanying this assignment, but for my purposes today I'm not going to do that since I already have a Facebook page and I don't have another email that I would like to create a false account with. So you're going to open your internet browser and go to Facebook, which I have already done. You can see here I've blocked off all of these posts so you can kind of look past, hopefully, all the other stuff that's on this screen. So you're going to navigate yourself to the left side of the page where my cursor is. You're going to scroll down to Groups, and you're going to go to Create a Group and click on that. So this box will pop up and it's going to ask you for some of your basic information on your group. So your group name for our purposes will be USMC Annual Training. Members, you can add people immediately. Again, these people would be the XO, the sergeant majors, the department heads, anyone who will be distributing this training. For the purposes of our display, I'm going to just add my husband. So when you do that, imagine that John is an XO from a squadron. What will happen is mutual friends will pop up in this window as well. So perhaps you'll find your sergeant major there. Perhaps you'll find other XOs there. So you can just add people as you see them here, or you can add them later, whatever's easier for you. Going down to the next section, you have the privacy settings. So just to go through these with you, you have public, where anyone can see the group and the members and their posts. For this, it's not what we want, since this is such a private matter and the Marine Corps likes to keep it amongst itself and not spread out to civilians who are not employed with the base. We don't want public. Closed is a decent amount of privacy, but as you read underneath this, anyone can find the group and see who's in it, but only members can see the posts. If you're in a military installation, you generally don't want anything that you have to be visible to the public at all with training materials. You don't want people to be able to find this group titled USMC Annual Training. You don't want the potential or the advertisement to be hacked. So we're not going to click closed. What we're going to do is select secret. This is only members can find the group and see the posts. So another thing with secret is the members in the group may add other people to the group as well. So it's not just the administrator, it's people involved in this group that are made to be administrators, that are made to handle adding new members, whom can add people to the group to be able to distribute the training. So after you've selected your privacy setting, you want to click Create, and this box will pop up. You select an icon. I'm just going to select an unassuming one here. Click OK, and your page will load. So as you can see, you have personalization options. You can upload your profile photo right away if you'd like. We're going to try and do that right now. So I'll click Upload. I have a couple saved on my desktop already. So I'm going to click an EGA, Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. Alright, and that is my background image now. So I can slide and adjust it however I'd like it to be. So after you do that, we want something, by the way, for our photos, we want something so the people who are added to the group, even though it says right here USMC annual training, we do want them to have a bit of reassurance that they are in the correct place. So you want to choose a picture that's appropriate for whatever particular base you're administering this at, whether it's Quantico or Camp Pendleton. You want to make sure that there is something there that's reflective of the location that you are at. So we'll scroll down. You can see members, events, photos, and files. We'll come back to that in a moment. So what you want to do next is add a description. This can be anything that you want it to be. Just make sure that you are accurately describing your group. So again, for our purposes, this is annual training at Marine Corps Camp Pendleton. So that's what we're going to put. Annual training for Camp Pendleton. Oops, forgot an E. Okay, and then you can see you're 66% complete because you have your description, you have your icon. Now you can go to add a cover photo, which, as I mentioned, try to pick something that's reflective of the place where the people are. So I have a picture already downloaded of Camp Pendleton, and that's what I'm going to place there. So you can see, even though the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor would be nice, it's not quite as descriptive as this Camp Pendleton photo is to show people, hey, you're in the right place. So now that all that's done, you're going to scroll on down. You'll see right here where you can add different posts. So what we would use this for our training purposes for the Marine Corps would be to actually publish links to the materials that we would use for training. So a lot of the training that the Marine Corps conducts is done online. Some of it is done face-to-face, but a vast majority is conducted via Marine Corps websites and things that I cannot name right now, but very private stuff through online access points. So what I would do here for our annual training is do something like the hazards training. So hazards training is just basic. I can talk to you about that. Hazards training is material data safety sheets, things like bloodborne pathogens, personal protective equipment, fire extinguisher use, things like that. So we would just do hazards training. So you want to identify what specifically you are including here, and then give very descriptive, very non-flowery verbiage, just cut and dry. This is what it is. Hazards training link, and then I would paste the link here and click post. And so there it is. And now everyone who is a member of this group, again, XOs, sergeant majors, department heads, anyone that they have added, some departments have trainers specifically whose job it is to complete annual training. All of those people who are needed to be added to this group and who have been added to this group will be able to see this post and access the training link here. So you can also add photos and videos, which for our purposes, for Marine Corps annual training, not a lot of purpose to that, except unless you wanted to add a video. And where that would come into play is if there was an issue base-wide. Say, for example, they had a record number of motorcycle accidents. So what you might want to do is go to add video or photo, and you can upload. Go to your computer. So what I would do prior to this step is find a video on motorcycle safety for our particular example, upload that, and then just add it straight to our wall here. So you can also ask a question. So say I want to know something, when is the annual hazards training due? I would just post that there, and the group administrator or someone else in the group could answer it. So we'll say due by February 28th, and that's it. So also you can add files, which again for our purposes, similar to the photos and videos, would not be used very often. So for military training in this Facebook group, you're going to focus mainly on writing posts so you can distribute the information to the people who need it, as well as ask a question so you can clarify different things at due dates, when specifically training events will take place. So I'm going to go back up here to the top. I'm going to click Save Changes first. I forgot to do that. So now my background picture is updated. You see everything is 100% complete. Awesome. We're going to click the X and delete that little box, so we're done. Again, going back here, members, click on that, and that will show you everybody that is added to the group. And here's where you can find the members. Say it has 100+ members and you want to search for someone specifically, you just type their name in the Find Member box, click Enter, and that person will pop up. So if you keep going to the right, you can add people. Right? Just type in a name. I'm going to use my mom for this. Okay, I can just click right there and add. Julie Driver has been added to the group. Click Done, and now she'll pop up in the members list as well. So say you've added somebody whom you need to go ahead and remove from the group. Whether it's someone who has resigned from their position or someone who's been relieved of their position, either way, this is how you handle that. So you click on the little icon underneath the person's name, then remove from group. We'll come back to make admin in just a moment. So what you can do is just remove this person or block them permanently. So block permanently would be used if this individual's Facebook account was hacked and you did not want them to be able to access this page at all. So removing permanently, again, mainly for hacked accounts with people who are accessing the information who should not be accessing the information. If you just want to remove somebody, say somebody went on vacation or they're taking extended leave, so they're gone for a couple of months and you don't want to run the risk of somebody hacking into their computer while they're gone and them not knowing it, or better example, say an XO gets sent out on deployment. He's going to be gone for whatever period of time the Marine Corps specifies. He's not going to have internet access. You don't want somebody to be able to hack into his information and come into your group and see your private training information. So you would just go ahead and remove him and then not block or not block permanently because he may come back. So just remove for the time being. Done and gone. So I'm going to click on this again and you'll see the Make Admin box. So what this will do is allow this person to edit the group, add or remove members, allow other members to have admin status. So this will be beneficial to use at least 2 people who are in the group admin who are working together. You never know, things come up, people get busy, people get relieved of positions, and say the person who is the administrator of this group got relieved of their position. You want to be able to have somebody else access it through their Facebook and remove that admin and make somebody else an admin. So my suggestion, at least 2, preferably 3 admins, and I would say 1 XO, 1 sergeant major, 1 department head, just so you're kind of spreading everything around. Okay, so now he is an admin. I can still remove him, and I can remove him as an admin. So continuing down, we're going to skip events because that's going to be a little bit more detailed. We're going to go to photos, and you can create an album, add a video. This is where you would want to do, again, kind of going back to our motorcycle example. Say we had a motorcycle safety video we wanted to include, upload it right here, and that's it. For our purposes, just to create an example, I'm going to pick our EGA symbol here, and that's uploading. So you'll notice the date, you can describe the album, where it was taken. For our military training, this is not really going to be beneficial. So our photo is uploaded, click post. Alright, and there we go. And so after you've added your photo or video, you can tag people in it, you can edit it, you can delete it, you can add more photos, more videos to this particular album, or you can go ahead and go back to your group page. So files, again, for our training purposes, it's not going to be incredibly beneficial. What you might do here, and this is just kind of a stretch, would be add some sort of a documentation that has an outline of the dates for all the training to be completed, or a list of all the trainings that need to be completed by everyone. But other than that, there's not really a lot we would do here. We're not going to add training documents to this page. We'll just do links, we'll just do videos, so actually adding the files itself is not going to be extremely useful for us. So I skipped events. We're going to go back to events now. And what we can do here is actually create an event. So I've mentioned online training that the Marine Corps has. I also mentioned that they do annual face-to-face training for specific topics, and again, I'm not going to go into detail on that for the sake of protecting the privacy there. But what you could do, again, I'm just going to use my hazards training as an example. We're going to go to create event. This little window is going to pop up and you're going to create a name. So we're going to name this event in-person hazards training. So details, as I said before, material safety data sheets, personal protective equipment, bloodborne pathogens, fire extinguishers. And that'll be it. We're going to add a location, so cities and stuff will pop up. I could also add a specific address. And this is just a false building name here. Okay, so we'll do that. It'll tell people where specifically it is. You'll have your date. We're going to go ahead and pick Friday, and we'll add a time. We'll say 1000, and it's going to go under the privacy of the USMC annual training, which means that it will have the same privacy that the group itself has. So not everyone's going to be able to see it. It's not public. It's not an open invite, which is where people can bring other people or invite other people to this event. We don't want that to be the situation. Guests and friends, people invited by any host or any guest, again, not what we want here. Invite only, we're also not going to do invite only. We're just going to post this for our particular group, and all those people in our training group will receive this invitation. So we're going to keep that USMC annual training, and we'll click create, and there is our event. Okay, so in-person hazards training. There's the event or the group it's created for, the administrator who created it, the date. Our time didn't stick. There we go. We'll just do 10 a.m. You can edit it really quickly like that. Edit the date. Just got to click on it. Whoops. Alright, there's our description of what the training is going to be specifically. Okay, and then it shows all of our edits when the group was when the event was created. So if somebody says, you know, you didn't give me adequate notification that this in-person training was happening. You didn't tell me a week in advance that this in-person training was happening. In this case, they would be correct. They only notified the trainers that they had 3 days, not the full week, to prepare to have this training. So if an issue like that does come up, Facebook is really good about documenting everything that you have going on. So I'm going to stick with events here for a moment, and then we'll go back to our annual training group. So you can see here, click on upcoming, and that's all the upcoming events that you have in your own personal Facebook. Go to calendar. Again, all events that you have in your own personal Facebook. But what I want to point out is this right here, this in-person hazards training. So if you go to your calendar, and this will be for anybody who's a member of this group, their events will pop up here and they will be visible. So if you just hover, you don't even have to click on it, you just hover over it, it tells you what it is, when it is, and where it is. And then that's pretty much it. Unless you're the administrator, you can go to edit, and you can edit the information about the group, you can or about the event, excuse me, you can even cancel the event. Okay, or you can invite more members to join. But we're not going to do that now again, since this is just for example purposes. Alright, so to navigate back to your group again, and I apologize because my newsfeed is going to be a bit of a mess, you're going to click home, you're going to scroll down on the left hand side, you're going to find your groups, right there, USMC annual training, and we're going to click on it and it'll load back up. So that's pretty much all I have as far as training or creating this group for United States Marine Corps annual training. And again, the people who participate in this training activity are everyone, every single employee of the United States Marine Corps, civilian, enlisted, officers, everyone, as I mentioned before, from the general down to civilian employees at the coffee shop. Everybody participates in this program. But this Facebook group is going to be very limited. It's going to be limited to the people who will be administering and distributing the training. So again, XOs, sergeant majors, department heads, managers, anybody that we see fit to facilitate the training activities. So specifics on whom will actually run this Facebook group, that will go to human resources, to HR. They are the people who currently administer all of the training, and they've been trying to find a way to make it more appealing to a younger generation. And since the majority of the employees in the Marine Corps are under age 30, a lot of them are using Facebook, a lot of them are using social media, a lot of them are using the internet daily, multiple times a day, just to do personal things, some work things. They're almost always in reach of a computer or cell phone or tablet where they are able to access this training information. So as far as human resources would be concerned, this would be a very large step forward and embracing a new type of technology and kind of catering more to the people whom this training will be used for. So to go into a little bit more detail about that as well, let me be a little more specific. Let me go into a little more detail about how the training has been administered in the past. So about 20 years ago, this information was distributed via paper notices in concealed envelopes, and it was given to the CO. It would sit on the CO's desk for a week and then eventually make it down to the XO and sit on his desk for a little while before they finally opened up the document and realized, oh, we have a training next week. And so then they moved to email about 10 years later, and that still was kind of a similar thing. You know, it just gets kind of lost in the inbox and shuffled around before eventually somebody would find it and realize, oh, hey, guess what? The entire squadron needs to complete this training in 2 weeks. So with Facebook, this being something that people check multiple times a day, Facebook has apps on people's phones and tablets, and people are able to access this, as I mentioned before, at virtually any time. And with Facebook, your phone will vibrate or do your little notification of, hey, you have something new going on here. So it would be able to distribute the information very quickly and very efficiently to all people participating in this program. Now, the only drawback really that I can see would be introducing Facebook to older people who have not yet really embraced social media as a training outlet. Currently, the people who are in these training positions, as I mentioned multiple times, XOs, sergeant majors, department heads, they tend to be older than the 30-year-olds that will be accessing a lot of this information. So that is an obstacle that I do see. Another training would have to take place just to educate people how to create a Facebook and then how to use the general options that Facebook has, make all their privacy information and everything the way that they would like it to be, which wouldn't be hard. It would just be something else we could add into our annual training exercises. But again, that is an obstacle that I do see with this. Other than that, I really find it difficult to argue with the efficiency of this, and as I mentioned before, the rapidity of being able to get this information out to students, or excuse me, to employees quickly and efficiently. But that's pretty much it as far as I'm concerned. I want to thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.